Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus, as we are slugging our way through steadily the lovely autumn or fall season here on High Ridge Farm. We are still in intense money-making mode. Now, one of the things that I would like to do in the next week is I want to take somebody to the cinema, because I've not actually done that yet. I want to go and see a film. I think that would be entertaining, so that could be an interesting thing. I want to slightly tweak the layout of the sheds as well, only in that I'd like to finish building the number of different kegs and preserve jars and just generally everything to make it a bit more efficient and you know, lovely. And that's the aim of the plan, aim of the game here. You know, I can do words good. Of course, you can see the vast pumpkin fields of High Ridge Farm are growing steadily, and I've got to make a tough decision. Because when they grow to full size, I don't believe on the day that they grow there is the chance of them being giant. Again, I could be wrong on this, but I believe that it is that if you leave them for a couple of days, they have the chance to turn into a giant crop. That's peculiar. I definitely didn't put the flooring and the wall paper in this shed. My curiosity has piqued. Okay, that's unusual and peculiar. Well, I'm not entirely sure what's happened there. That's nice, because that saves me having to do that to all of them. But that's not what I was expecting. Anyway, I'm going to plant garlic seeds in here for now because I need some more garlic so I can make garlic oil as one of the craftable recipes that I need to make. Now, one of the things as I was sort of mentioning is that I believe that it is the case that when you grow the crops that are able to become giants, so cauliflower, melons, or pumpkins, they don't spring up as giant on the first day that they grow. I believe it takes a couple of days. But I'm aware that it can force other crops to grow in their vicinity to make it all work out and all, which is great. But, of course, I'm now curious to see what the actual impact of that could be and how well it would work. Because, of course, I would like it to be, well, you know, I'd like it to work, shockingly enough. Because I'd like to have more giant crops. They're always great because, of course, they give you more of the crop in general. I believe they have a chance to give you anywhere between, well, it's definitely up like 10 plus of the crop required, which, you know, that's quite nice. That's kind of what I'm after. So I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to see. Because, yeah, I'd like to, you know, get more pumpkins for the sake of just getting more pumpkins. Yeah, I know it's a small ask, but I am very much of the I would like to have that. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to sell these fairy roses, not because it's mostly because of money at the moment. I do have a stock of things that I need, so I don't really need to worry. I already have enough of the fairy powder. Now, what I am planning on doing is holding on to more of the fairy powder for the time being. Because what I'd like to do with it is to use it to, well, on the off chance that I need something grown quickly or something matured quickly. That's really what I'm after there. It's just something that I can just go bang, done, and not have to worry about it. So we'll see how well that sort of plays out. Okay, so let's just sort this out, and we're going to slap the other milk in here. But of course, as I mentioned, I'd like to sort out a little bit of the layout of the sheds. So that is going to mean that I need to make more crystalariums because I've got the crystalarium department. I don't know whether I want just an entire singular row of them or a couple of rows. I'm not entirely sure. So I am going to have to sort of see what I would like to do with that area. So once that's sort of organised, that's going to be the next sort of thing. Now, as I mentioned, I'd like to go to the cinema. I've never actually been to the cinema here. I'm vaguely aware that there's a claw machine that you can win things in. So perhaps that's going to be a focus of mine this week, is taking somebody there. Maybe even, I think you have a 7-day cooldown in which you can only visit, or can you visit, or is it you can take the same person once every 7 days, or I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just end up doing like a week of just visiting the cinema. That'll be fun. Now, I've been really thankful for the mahogany trees here on Ginger Island, because it was a while ago I was really struggling for sap. Now, it's not as bad. Like, I've got a decent amount of sap that I'm generating purely because of these mahogany trees giving me quite a lot. I think when I harvest all of them, it gives me about 150 to 180, about 200 sap every day, which is great because I do have a lot of trees with tappers on, but of course it's a lot of very useful resources, and that's really what I'm after, is having the powerfully useful resources for me there. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. But I'm going to cut down the trees that I don't need, so the basic coconut trees, because they don't matter. So yeah, let's just smash these open, and I'm debating whether I want to make some more fertilizer for the time being, because of course I do have all of that as an option with all of these shellfish that I've harvested, the periwinkles or whatever they are. So maybe I'll do that. I'm not sure. All the same, I've got a few things that I'm going to need to do, because I'm going to need to acquire more of the main resources that one needs, such as the ores to turn into bars, so that I can actively turn that into something profitable and useful. And of course, when it comes to profitable and useful, there are quite a few things that I kind of need to look at, as of course there are quite a number of different resources that I need, such as Iridium and copper and so on and so forth, because I'm going to need all of that so that I can actually achieve what I need to do here on Ginger Island and in the farm itself. Now, another consideration I had was, do I use Ginger Island's farmhouse as another winemaking shed and just turn the inside of it in? But at the same time, I can't actually remember how large it actually is. So I think I should have a look inside and see, because I'm not sure. But for the same, we're just going to slug on through, going to mine this way here. Now, of course, me thinking about being able to use this, turn this into plants, which didn't happen, sadly. I mean, theoretically I could, because I could use planters, perhaps. Oh, purple mushrooms. So I need these for the life elixir, so that's really helpful. And I'm quite glad that that's there, because that makes life a lot easier. Oh, and another artifact trove. I mean, that's the thing, is you do get some useless gaff out of them, but you do occasionally get something helpful. But one of the things that I am considering as well is I haven't got a lot of the more unusual decorations that one can purchase, such as using like a pearl to trade with the desert trader for the birch bed. I haven't got the turbans that they offer. And actually, that might be something that I'd like to try and get a hold of. So we'll see how well that goes. Of course, we've got all of these Iridium bars here, which we're going to work our way through, which are going to be very useful. They're going to be essentially turned into Crystalariums at the moment, maybe into some of the fertilizer. But for now, I think I'm going to slap a bunch of gold in those ones in a moment. Now, where is that? Is it in here? Okay, well, there's the gold. There's the copper, the coal even. So now I can just throw that in there and just smelt that all down and work my way through it. And that's the thing is, one of the things I have noticed is that there is an opportunity for me to generate a lot of useful resources and kind of use them to my benefit. And I'd like to kind of improve a little bit of the town. Maybe come year 4, once I achieve perfection, start doing things to sort of beautify certain parts of the town, such as the mines and other such areas, and maybe even sort of try and improve the layout of the farm, like put some more paving down, some more roads, you know, make it look a bit neater. Because yes, I'm painfully aware that my farm is a little bit slapdash. I'm not that bothered by it because, you know, it's my farm, it's a big mess, just like my brain. But hey ho, it's a plan at least. Now I'm going to quickly dip into the volcano for a moment because I want to make more furnaces, and I can't remember whether it's more viable for me to work down the first 25 floors, or 25 to 30 floors in the mines versus working my way through parts of the volcano for resources. At the same time, I could also even consider using Skull Caves for that. Now, I've been, I guess, vaguely blessed that I've not yet seen Mr. Key offer the hard mode for Skull Caves yet. I've seen quite a few people lamenting actually quite how much harder it is, and I'm a little bit intimidated would probably be the one way of putting it. I am unnerved by potentially how difficult it could be. So we're gonna have to see how well this goes, I think, because you know I don't really want to struggle that hard trying to get my way down it, but it's a thing. So I'm getting the view that I don't think it's quite as viable doing the volcano versus the mine shaft. So I think that's going to be where I try first. So let's try the mines and see what we can actually gather here. Okay, so it'd be nice to actually get some copper. That would be good. Die, horrible bug. Die. Yeah, so I'm kind of hoping for the best here a little bit, because I would quite like to get that. Yeah. So as you can tell, I'm sort of more considering wanting to get the copper more than anything, because without it, I can't make furnaces, and I'm a bit stuffed if I can't make furnaces, in one's own humble opinion, because that is kind of an important aspect of actually being able to do things. But we'll see, we'll see. But for now, we're getting a few miscellaneous useful things that we can sell, I guess. That's a benefit. I think that's the odd thing, really, when it sort of boils down to what sort of weird and wonderful can you actually obtain from the mines, is there is a lot of odd, useful stuff down here. And especially when you're playing on hard mode, you do, of course, get some of the more unusual drops, which are kind of interesting. Oh, goodness, look at all these slimes. Like, for example, the rainbow shell, which that thing was an absolute pain in the posterior of me trying to acquire. I was just lucky that I was given one early, I think it was year 1 at Christmas, when I needed it. So, you know, I was very lucky in that regard. So, maybe there's some opportunity for vaguely useful things appearing whilst we're down and about here. And thankfully, these slimes aren't really any worry because they can't hurt me because I have the Flame Charm ring, except for their random projectiles that do 1 damage. The projectile slimes, they hurt me. But at the same time, we're just going to murder these slimes just to get our way down for this floor. And we're only in floor 10. Good grief, that's kind of alarming, isn't it? Well, again, we're not really finding much of the way of copper so far. We found one whole vein there. Wow, 3 bits of copper. Okay, well, there's some more. And another coral, which, again, kind of handy. It's the sort of thing that I'm going to need and I'm going to want to use a little bit. Because with the coral, I can use it to make other important fertilizers and such, which I know I have made. Like, I made a good number of them, which is kind of a good sign for me, because I don't have to worry as much as I might need to. Which, again, might sound a bit peculiar, but I'm still trying to work through exactly what I haven't made. And the thing is, I know there are a few things that I haven't yet done. I do really need to be on the ball with that. So let's see what else we can find whilst we're down here. Well, there's a couple more copper down there, and we are coming already almost to the end of the day. It's already almost midnight, so that's kind of alarming. We haven't really done much. Well, let's murderize these blasted squid and little duggies and, oh, well, you know, getting some bombs on the squid ink. The squid ink sells reasonably well, I guess, so could be handy, I guess. You can tell I'm very much of a, things aren't really particularly exciting right now. Well, let's just slap a bomb down, see what happens. Bang. Again, we got a bit of copper out of a stone. I guess that's kind of an advantage, is some of the stones will have a chance of, as well as dropping copper, having the possibility chance of dropping copper themselves as well as coal. So, you know, we've got some advantages, I guess. It's still a bit of a, oh, I'm not sure. Again, it's I'd like to see something more beneficial come out of this, but hey, it's a thing. It's vaguely useful, and that's kind of what I've got to go with right now. Okay, so let's reorganize what we've got, and let's smelt up a bunch of the smaller scale stuff. Well, let's do the gold and the quartz, and the iron. Now, the iron itself might be more useful, because I want to make a bunch of solar panels as well. Because I want to cover the desert in solar panels. I want to turn it into my own personal madness, essentially. It's probably the best way of putting it. I want to turn it into a big mad mess of kind of useful stuff. Because, yeah, it is a big mad mess of odd, but kind of handy. Okay, that was very close. The trouble I've still got is I'm very nervous about holding bombs, which I think is quite reasonable, because I know I'm an idiot. I know I'm likely to do something incredibly stupid, and I'm very, very likely to just mess up royally. So I'd like to not. I think it's probably the best way of putting it. But yeah. Let's see what else we can sort out here. Well, we've got a bunch of diamonds. It's 6 in the morning. I saw the diamonds ping up last night, and I was like, oh, they're ready, but I'm going to pass out if I go for them. So it was a bit too much of a risk. Okay, weather report. It's going to be sunny, so meh. The thing is, the weather isn't as much of a problem for me now, because, of course, I don't have to worry about the plants, because, of course, I'm just using sprinklers. For now. And that's kind of my main aim on this one. I don't really need to worry about anything else otherwise, because the sprinklers just sort out the farm for me. I don't have to really worry. It's of no major concern for me. So I'm going to make a bunch of coffee, and because of the key seasoning, I can improve the coffee and its quality and blah, blah, blah. So that's the thing. It does give a better energy and health boost. But it doesn't affect the speed stat in the same way that I was kind of hoping. an improved quality of the espresso doesn't make you move any faster, which is a crying shame, versus the Mr. Key seasoning on other foodstuffs that improve a stat, such as mining, foraging. That does make a big difference. That is a little bit more interesting to me, I find. Because, of course, being able to, well, tweak a better end result is far, far better. Okay, so what else can we organise whilst we are here? That's going to be the tough question, isn't it? Right. So the one green chest does look a little lonely there now, but since it's the only one there, as of course I don't really need any other big chests, which is perfectly fine. It's just how it goes. It's unneeded, unnecessary almost. But that's kind of a given, though, isn't it? It's not a big requirement for me to have there. Right. Let's see. What else can we sort out in the farm today? Well, the thing is, the other thing I've also got to consider is I don't really have very many in the other animals in the coop. I do have a few in the coop, but this one's still got a few spaces. I mean, it's only got 3 chickens. So do I put more chickens in there to have a constant cycle of basic eggs, which could be useful in more cooking recipe side of things? Or, I mean, actually, that might be a better idea. I move the animals that aren't dinosaurs out of this second coop and have an entirely dinosaur one. Because that is what I would like. I'd like a dinosaur area. I mean, totally not sort of pointing at the fact that I have been looking at paleo pines and going, that's adorable, I really want this. Ah, so we've got lots of Starfruit wine ready, so that's fantastic. So I'm going to need to go and grab something else out of one of the other sheds, because this one is almost full. This could be a conundrum. Oh my goodness, look at all that. Right, well, we've got pumpkins and pineapples. Let's just slap what we've got in, see what we can gather from it, and kind of go from there, I guess. I'm not quite saying hope for the best, but it's a little bit hope for the best. So obviously pickled pumpkins are going to sell for a little bit, which is good. Should be quite valuable when I look at it. Should hopefully give me a decent amount of money coming in for at the end of the day. My aim is, by the end of the fall, or the autumn season, is to be pushing over 8 million. Now, that's still a week and a bit away, since that it's Thursday, so we're looking at, what, about 10 days away? So it's a possibility. It just depends on how quickly the wine is produced and how quickly it becomes ready. So that's going to be a thought, really, isn't it? Now, the pickling jars, I think they take 4 or 5 days to make a pickled thing. Now, all of the pumpkins that I've got growing in the garden, well, the farm, not garden, goodness gracious, that should give me a decent quantity. Now, one of the other things that I would very much love, which I know is far beyond my capabilities, is if somebody would make a mod where you can just have some guinea pigs. And maybe, like, big guinea pigs, because capybaras. So, like, we've got David the guinea pig in the game. I think that's its name. Abigail's pet. But I'd love to have an outdoor run with them in. Maybe they're a bit small for in this game scheme of things, but we've got rabbits. Unless it's a French lop, they're also quite small. But the thing is, there's not really anything that you can get from a guinea pig other than a cuddle and a sneeze if you're unfortunately allergic to the hair. Oh my goodness, look at all that Starfruit produce. So yeah, I'd love it if you could have capybaras and or guinea pigs. I think that would be something is like an item to sort of like be a mimic of like David the guinea pig, but also that you could take it out and have a cuddle with a little like, you know, heart emoji sort of thing above the character, above the player character, and to give it a name. And the thing is, if you're going to have that, you need to be able to have like a minimum of 2 in there, and it has to be a decent sized hutch. You know, like at least 3 long minimum, 3 squares long. 4, maybe a 3x2, so it's like a 6 block, like a bigger than a chest of drawers, because guinea pigs need room. They need room to zoomies. Yeah, because that's something that I would like to see. But I'd also very much like to see capybaras. So perhaps that's something, because we're now back again in the new year, and last new year I did attempt the great mod hunt, and I failed miserably at mine, as I've mentioned previously. I just cannot do mods. The issues I had were there were a bunch of mods that required other mods for me to get them to work, and some of those mods I didn't really want. Like the butchery mod, I think, was one of them. And I'm like, I don't really want to butcher animals. I mean, I know there's the capability, but I don't really want to have to faff with that. It's no. So we will see. Maybe I'll go back onto Nexus mods and see what we can do. Because if I can get capybaras, again, they're not going to do anything. That's the other problem. They don't do much. They just go into the water, potato a bit, and just kind of adorable. So maybe they could be like a replacement skin for the pig. Maybe. I don't know. Wild spitballing, but just ideas that I'd love to be able to do myself, but I just do not have the capability, unfortunately. And it's a painful bit that I have to sort of acknowledge. It's that I know I'm not that techie. I'm not programmery. I think that's really the gist of it. I'm not a good programmer. Which does kind of make me a bit sad. I kind of wish I was a bit better at it. I mean, I look at my younger brother, who is significantly better at that sort of stuff than I am. To be fair, that's his job. And then there's me, who's just like, I am a slacker. That is my job. So yeah. Let's have a quick look and see. We're going to grab some of the rose mushrooms. That's hunky-dory. Lovely stuff. Grab that. And you can see I've got a little bit of land at the bottom of the farm that I'm not really using for anything at the moment. So I'm sort of, again, debating what to do with it. I also I would kind of like to update near the grandfather's shrine. So I'm trying to figure out what would be kind of nice to put there. And I'm not saying that it has to be super, super exciting, but it'd be just something nice there. That'd be cool. Again, what? Not a clue. But I'd like to do something. So let's see if I can figure something out that would look nice at least. Yeah. I'm sort of just spitballing wild ideas at the moment. But as we can see, we've got Wolf, my lovely ostrich, who is unfortunately in the way of that annoying truffle that I want. And as of course, as I mentioned previously, Wolf is my first Patreon, so of course I've got naming rights of that. And I think that's going to be something that will be going forward with other games as I start playing them. Is when it comes to name, you will have a naming right of like first dibs on animals and all sorts of wonderful things that I will encounter when I play the games. Of course, we've got Paleo Pines, which is one that I'm going to be looking at playing up and coming. But as I mentioned in a previous video, I will be doing a poll where people can vote on what they would like to see me do more. And I think that's quite a reasonable thing to sort of like look at and say, what game do you want to see me play? And, well, we'll see how well that goes. Because we could end up with something completely bizarre. Of course, I'm going to limit it to games that I've already own or games that I'm looking to purchase. Because my Steam wishlist is a little bit ridiculous, I will freely admit. There are many, many games on there that I'm like, ooh, this would be fun. And I think that's the same curse that most people have, especially when it comes to the fact that we've had the Steam sale recently, which was, that was a dangerous, dangerous time for me. I spent a lot. Okay, so we've got all of this starfruit to sort out, so that's fine. So we'll grab some seeds. I think I'm going to have to go back to the desert and sort that out as well to reorganize these seeds. So let's sort this out. So apologies for the slight time skip there. It was a foolish error on my part where I managed to delete a bit of the footage. Nothing super exciting, just me planting some starfruit. Now, of course, we've got lots of starfruit here that needs reorganizing. I am definitely going to have to visit the desert again. I'm going to run out of those seeds. The problem I've got is I don't want to buy like a stack of 999, but at the same time, that's really kind of what I need to do. And it's silly that I am erring aside from doing that, because it's like, well, actually, that's what I need. I need a big stack of it. It's a given. So I think that's going to be what I'm going to have to sort of get over to myself. It's that I think it's part of the hoarder mentality that I'm sure I've mentioned previously, that I know that I find it difficult to spend resources sometimes. I want to hoard a big pile of them, and yes, there have been many times where I've essentially handicapped myself because I've decided that hoarding resources and essentially playing like a dwarf, like I want to sit on the biggest pile of gold, it's not easy, because it means that you just end up going, I've stuffed myself slightly here because I've just got too many resources and I've nothing to spend it on. So yeah, I need to work that out. I think that's going to be the next sort of thing. But I do need to be a bit more sensible when it comes to actually investing, which, you know, it's not super difficult for me to do, but it is one of those things that I'm annoyed at myself that it is harder for me to justify to myself than probably should be. So we'll try harder. I think it's probably the best way of putting it. We're going to try harder. Okay. But whilst we're here, we're in the mines, we're trying to get copper, we're going to try and get a little bit of radioactive ore, and actually, weirdly enough, some stone. Because one of the things I have kind of realised is that I've actually running out of the resource. Because, of course, I'm going to be building lots of things that are actually going to require stone, I am slowly but surely running out. So that's kind of the next thing that I need to work on, is actually getting more stone. Now, again, the question comes, is it more viable for me to do deep dives into skull caves? Is it more viable for me to go to the volcano? Because, again, the volcano itself does provide a... Well, what's the best way of putting it? It provides more stone per clump. Oh my goodness, that was quite a... Look at that. Now that is a lot of copper. That's fantastic. That's hopefully enough to make at least one furnace. The thing is, you need 20 copper ore to make a furnace. So it is a bit of a faff, unfortunately. Right. C'est la vie. Yeah, you know, you just get used to it, don't you? It's just what you have to do. Okay. So there's another stack of it over there, so that's fantastic. Well, what next? I think it's the next big question, isn't it? Well, we're still getting more copper, which again is kind of the main aim of the game at this point. It's what I want. More than anything, really, is just copper. It's strange to feel that actually I need more of one of the most basic resources, but that is kind of a curse that you do get with, I think, with a lot of games, is where, especially where you may come back and use the same older resources, that you generally need just a vast quantity of them compared to much earlier stages in the game. Also, it is because I'm totally and utterly industrializing my production rather than just having 10 furnaces. I've now got closer to 30, which again isn't that many. I like the fact that I'm trying to justify it to myself, going, no, it's not really that many, is it? Really? I mean, it might be. It's not that many. Yeah, I know, I'm an idiot. Right, so let's slice our way through it. And the other thing is, of course, I'm quite pleased about is the weapon upgrades, like the enchantments that one can get. Like, actually being able to put those on a weapon it's kind of nice, actually. It sounds, might be a bit stupid for me to almost, like, suggest it, but consider that when I've played this previously, before Ginger Island was a thing, getting hay was quite a faff if you didn't almost industrialize the damn production. So having the ability to just swing my sword around and just get it anyway is, oh, wonderful. It makes my life super, super easy, and yeah, I like it. So yeah, it's a nice sort of a twist, almost, for me. Okay, so let's just work my way through this bit. What can we do here? What would be the best plan? Well, it's almost midnight already. Goodness gracious. I'm going to have to potentially... Do I want to leave now? Or, well, earlier in the grand scheme of things, so that I can guarantee that I will have the ability to functionally actually organise what I've gathered whilst I'm here? Or do I want to push it and, you know, risk it for a biscuit, as the phrase might go here, and just push my luck and just get more resources? So that's always a consideration. It's my inherent greed kind of kicks me in the teeth a little bit. And I know that does... I think that plays hand in hand with my hoarder behaviour. I really am a dwarf, aren't I? Very Lord of the Rings or Warhammer dwarf. Just really greedy. All about that gold. Well, in this case, copper. But, you know, it's the same principle. I'm just inherently very, very, very greedy. I have many things that I want to achieve. Right, so we're going to organise my chest here. I think I am going to move that one because it's becoming kind of annoying. I should probably swap it around for the one that's on the left-hand side of this. I don't need 7 chests around it. Let's just, you know, let's make this vaguely more sensible. Because yeah, it's become annoying now, unfortunately. So that is what I'm going to have to do. Try and organise my my silliness a little here, because yeah, I want to have all of this option of resources that I can access, but at the same time, the fact that I'm kind of stuffed myself a little bit, it's difficult to get to. So I think a little bit of reorganisation, maybe that'll happen, I think maybe tomorrow or just later this week. It's going to happen just so I can feel at least a little bit more pleased with myself in that regard. But, you know, for now, we've got quite a lot to make that we have made now. I'm probably going to go through the path thing and just to make sure that I've made it all. But I think it's some of the weapon things, like the rings. Like there's one that needs a bunch of frozen tears. And the thing is, I didn't even think about frozen tears as a resource. Yeah. So I got the monster musk. I've definitely made that. I've made the fairy dust. I made the wooden lamppost. I made the bone mill. So I've made everything on this page at least. I made most of the things on this one. I haven't made those two. So I need garlic and oil. Well, I'm growing the garlic, so that's fine. And oil, I think I've got some. If not, I'm sure I've got some sunflower seeds I can just crack in. Or even a sunflower itself. I think the seeds are better. Right, I'm also going to make a bunch of wild bait, purely for the dual catch possibility. I'm going to fling the basic bait out for sale for now, because I don't really need it. Not in its basic stance. Not in its basic level, at least. It's a bit of a meh. Much of a muchness. Okay, so let's put some more Crystalariums down so we can generate some more diamonds. There we go. In you go. Now, I don't know how many Crystalariums I want to have either, and we've got some ideas, we'll figure it out. But I would like to say thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed my random ramblings as I play through some Stardew Valley. If you did enjoy, please do like, share, and subscribe, because they're always helpful. And hopefully I'll catch you again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.